One of the things that the judge said to me in the first pre-trial, as you know, there's been about 10 pre-trials already, and that's the game the court's playing. They're playing the game. Oh, he's not going to show game. He's not going to show game. We're gonna send him to court. He'll wait all day, waste his time. We won't ask him one single question. We'll set another court date. Do it again, set another court date. Do it again, another court date. We'll just wait until he misses a court pre-trial and then put a warrant out for his arrest. This is the game the court's playing right now. It's a simple game of we'll just wait until he doesn't show game. We'll call it that. Anyway, one of the things that the judge said to me, right, in a very rude and just disrespectful way, was, oh, he made the statement, you can't have your cake and eat it too. When I was mentioning I wanted to get my own, I didn't want to use their public defender. I wanted to get my own free trial lawyer, you know. So I want to talk about this concept of getting, having your cake and eating it too. And this is the exact same thing that the prosecution in the courts are trying to use against me. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Meaning, they're trying to brush this case off as a small case. Oh, it's just a fight. It's not really a big case. We don't really need to get the evidence, the surveillance video, because, you know, it's private property, is what the judge said to me. You know, the footage is private property. It's a small case, it's just a fight. Just like a fight you have in high school that nobody cares about. A fight you have in junior high school that happens, nobody cares about it. After a month, after 2 weeks, nobody cares about it. This is a fight just like that. Nobody cares about it. And the prosecution is treating it as a case that nobody cares about. By not, you know, getting into the surveillance video, they're brushing it off. At the same time, they're trying to have their cake too by giving me a murder charge. So they're treating the case as nobody cares about it. It's not a big deal. It's just a fight. But at the same time, they're trying to lock up a black man with a murder charge, even though nobody died. And how they're trying to go about to do that, to have their cake and eat it too, is to say that, you know, they don't say it's a murder charge. Of course, they can't say it's a murder charge if no one died. But what they do is they add up charges to where it's just the years add up to a murder charge. For example, they had me for a strangulation charge, right? Because I choked the guy out who was assaulting me and my family, right? And he didn't need to be choked out if he would have just relaxed. And when I relaxed, that's when he was very relaxed in the fight. I admit that, he was very relaxed. But that's a fighter. That's what a fighter does. He doesn't want to waste his energy. But when I released the grip, then that's when he started, I could feel him going for my legs. So that's when I tightened that back up. So he chose to be choked out. I didn't choose to choke him out. He chose his way of losing that fight. You know, because I didn't have to choke right. So I wanted to let it go because my arms were tired. You know, so I wasn't doing the choke right. So I was gonna let him go, in hopes that he wasn't gonna continue to fight. But when he showed that, when I started releasing the grip, that he was trying to continue to fight, so I tightened back up. He chose to get choked out, not I chose him to get choked out, number one. Number two, they're giving me a charge of severe body injury. But the question goes back to the court and the prosecution. How is a severe bodily injury when the only reason I chose to choke him out is so I wouldn't have to hurt him? I could see the guy was mentally out of his mind on some kind of drugs or something that he was, I don't know what led him to assault me unprovoked. The key word is unprovoked. Coming at me with his fists clenched, raised to hit me unprovoked. I mean, I could see he was deranged because he was going after my brother, and my brother ran behind me, but doesn't mean I'm part of it. Whatever they got going on doesn't mean I'm part of it. I could see that he went after the white guy that tried to break up the original altercation that he had with this other guy. He chased him to the store. So I could see that this guy wasn't in his right mind. He's banging on the guy's window. Before he assaulted my brother, he assaulted this white guy. I could see he wasn't in his right mind. I could see he wasn't in his right mind when he chased in the transgender guy into the store, to where he had to ask the people to call police, and the police didn't come for some certain political and biased reasons. They take a long time to come to the store, and I'm supposed to be the scapegoat for their lack of professionalism, their lack of not coming on time. I'm supposed to be their scapegoat. I'm supposed to be the judge's scapegoat for letting this guy who was on parole at the time, letting him out out of court. I'm supposed to be the scapegoat for his crimes, for the judge's crimes, to let this guy out. Because if I have a pit bull, right, and I just let him run out into the street, he starts attacking the first guy. Then he goes to the other guy and starts attacking. Then he goes to the next guy and starts attacking him. And then one guy fights him and shoots my dog or something. Then I'm gonna press charges because he shot my dog, who was attacking multiple people. In this case, I didn't shoot anybody, but they're trying to get me as if I shot him. As if I shot their dog. It's their dog. He was on parole. He's under the watch of Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He's the one. He's their problem. So that's the same way if I have a pit bull and I just let him out and he starts attacking people, I'm in trouble. I get in trouble, right? That's the same way I would get in trouble. The courts take no responsibility on their dog when they let him out. They take absolutely no, because they're not in the business to take responsibility. They're in the business of pointing fingers at people and saying, oh, you're guilty, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. That's what they're in the business of. So they take no responsibility and they look for scapegoats for their crimes. Because it is their crime, because it's a crime. So if they're backing a criminal, right? If you have a guy who's committing a criminal on tape, 7-Eleven, everybody knows 7-Elevens have video cameras. So you can clearly see if he's committing crimes. Assaulting multiple people is committing crimes. Chasing a transgender while chasing a transgender person into a store because you don't like homosexuals, that's considered, in the laws of America, that's considered a hate crime. So they're covering up for a hate crime. So if you back a criminal, right, if you support a criminal, as the prosecutions have taken, as the Commonwealth has taken this position to support a criminal, as the detective, as he told me when he came up to me, he said, I will go to the criminal and see if he wants to press charges against you. I will go to the criminal and see if he wants to press charges. And I did an earlier video where I stated that if you're a willing participant, like if I give you boxing gloves and I put on boxing gloves and we square up, the minute you put on your boxing gloves, you become a willing participant. You can't press charges. But then the detective went to the one, right, who had his fist raised at me first. Who didn't raise his fist? I didn't raise my fist. Who raised his fist? Their guy raised their fist at me. Who stepped into me? I didn't step into him. He stepped into me. He came to me. I was on the steps first. He came up to the steps because my brother was on the steps. So his whole initial was to go after my brother, who is crippled, by the way. My brother's crippled, so I was supposed to let my crippled brother, get beat down by some guy, and I don't know why. And even then, I was calm, cool, collected, because I didn't initially go after the guy when he was going after my brother. I waited till my brother came to me and asked me for support. And when he did that and ran behind my back, I still didn't do nothing. I just stood there and gave him a mean look. And then when he was approaching me, and with his fist up raised, and as the assault continued and he stepped in, then of course I had no choice but to protect myself. But the Commonwealth of Massachusetts looked at that. They're a business, right? Their business is to profit off of black on black violence. Even though, and then to paint it as if, it's just a fight nobody cares about. And that's true. It's just a fight, nobody cares about it. And that's why I was upset with the detective when he came after me a month later. I'm like, that incident is done, and it handled itself. It worked out. It worked itself out. So wherever the pieces fell, it fell, and it's over with. And it happened a month ago, and it was a done deal. So for you to get involved clearly shows that you're just trying to profit off of the slightest black on black violence. You won't let the slight, even though no one got shot, even though no one got stabbed, even though nobody got severely body injured, like you state that they did, nobody got hit. I was able to defuse the incident in a safe manner that everybody had a chance to walk away, right? Because you don't like that, because you look at that as somebody stepping on your foot, whereas somebody taking away your murder charge, somebody taking away your gun charge or whatever stabbing charge or whatever comes after that, because those things didn't happen, you feel some kind of way, right? That somebody's taking away your money, that preventing you from getting some kind of murder charge or attempted murder charge. So you're having your cake and eating it too, by setting up the case as, it's just a minor fight. But getting me murder charges, give me a murder charge. And when I say murder charge, something up to 15 years or more. Something up on paper, 15 years, Something compatible to a murder charge. So no, they're not gonna say it's a murder charge, but it's compatible to a murder charge. It's compatible to a manslaughter charge. All right, so this detective's coming to me a month later at a fight because a criminal who was in the act of committing crimes was stopped and embarrassed on footage, was embarrassed, and somebody posted it on Facebook. So you go to, and the question becomes, how did he find out the Facebook post? Some cop had to go to him and show him, oh, look, you're on Facebook. He insulted you. He did you wrong. Look what he did to you. Do you want to press charges? And how do I know that the detective did that? Because he told me he was going to do that. In other words, the guy who was assaulting people and committing crime, he wasn't going to the police because he knew he got what he deserved. You don't get what you get what you deserve, and you just deal with it. That's it. It's over with. You just don't do it again. If you don't want to, you just don't go up to strangers and start assaulting people you don't know. That's supposed to be a learning lesson for you. You should have already learned that. You should already know that, right? So instead of that being his learning lesson, the detective want to profit off of the smallest black on black violence, right? The courts want to profit off the smallest black on black violence, even nobody got shot, nobody got stabbed, Nobody got, and why nobody got stabbed and nobody got shot? Because I prevented that. So instead of honoring me like you're supposed to, you know, your nature can't get you in the, you know, to submit to honoring a black man, for, or to acknowledge that a black man could be a good Samaritan. So you go to the criminal, right? You go to the criminal, and you press charges. I mean, you ask him to press charges, right? So let's look at that. A person would never press charges unless you had an agreement with this individual that everything, all the crimes he was committing, you would make sure it would never come up in court. That's the only way a person would press charges. If you have an agreement with them that the person they chased into the store would never come out, right? That the person that they were assaulting, the white guy who chased out of the store, so your guy chased a person into the store, which was a hate crime that you can cover up for him. That's that you're covering up for him. And then he assaults another guy. He chases him out of the store, a different guy. So he chases one guy into the store, chases a different guy out of the store, right? And you're covering up for him for his crimes. Then he assaults my brother who is handicapped. Then he comes after me with unprovoked, no words exchanged, unprovoked. That's the key word, unprovoked. He comes after me, unprovoked. And then you're sticking up for him, right? So you're part of you take on his crime. So if you protect the criminal, right? You support a criminal, you become a what? A criminal. Or what? A criminal organization. If it's the whole organization, if the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is going to get behind it, right? So, so and there's no surprise that you're not going to show the surveillance video, because your client is too criminally toxic to show 2 seconds of what he did on the surveillance video. He's too criminally toxic, right? And then, not only that, you're covering up for him that he was stealing out of the store. The manager just said that they have footage of him shoplifting from that store. I'm not sure if it's the same day, but they have footage or have footage of him. I mean, it's been 2 years now, so I don't know if they still have the footage of him shoplifting from the store. He was also fighting at other occasions at that same location. But who you chose to bar from the store? You chose to bar me from the store. To make it look like, right, the store barred me from the store in front of the jury. So to make it look like the store is on your side and not barring the other guy makes it look like the store takes the position that two guys are fighting and I was the one that started it because the store barred me and not barred him. But it wasn't the store that barred anybody. It was the courts that barred me, right? At the request of the prosecution, to make the jury assume or presume my guilt. To make the jury presume my guilt, because this case is not about evidence. Because if it was about evidence, you just show the evidence, which is the surveillance video. This case is about making the jury presume me guilty, which is unconstitutional. So if you present a Facebook post that only shows a fight, right, that's not evidence. That's presumption of guilt, which is unconstitutional. And if the judge allows it, the case becomes unconstitutional. Because every man has a right for a presumption of innocence, not presumption of guilt. But because I'm black and you don't look at me as a man, right? So that's where the loophole comes in that law. But I'm hip to it. I'm hip to your games, right? So, yeah. So, the Facebook post doesn't show when, or the, when you give the perception that the store barred me, which was not the case, not only is not the case, the store asked me, the store came to me, I didn't come to them, they came to me and asked me if I would be security to them, for them, right? And I turned them down. Well, I didn't turn them down. I said the only way I'll be security for them if they allow me to sell my product alongside their products in the store. Then I can consider it. But they never got back to me on that. But of course, you don't want the jury to know that part of it, right? So you're using a case that for right now that nobody cares about. Nobody cares that a criminal got roughed up one night, right? It didn't hurt him. And he wouldn't have never got choked out. He chose to get choked out by when I was letting him go, he started to grab my leg. I felt his leg go up my side of my pants, his arm, his hand go outside my pants when I started to release the pressure. So I tightened it back up. So he chose to get choked out. I didn't choose for him. He chose it. So we're gonna have to see what's the prosecution side of this. And I would like, to even call the prosecution and see. It's lunchtime. Hopefully they're still there. Hopefully somebody's still there. We can see if they're there, so we can get their side of the story and why they taking the side of a criminal, a life criminal, who was on parole against a person who's never been arrested in Massachusetts, who went to high school, never been arrested, who went to junior high school, never been, who went to elementary school, and who went to college in Massachusetts and never been arrested. Why would you take the side, of a criminal over a good Samaritan if what I'm saying is false and you're not just trying to profit off of any sign of black on black violence, that you need to profit off of every little premise of some kind of black on black violence, you need to profit off of. So let me try to call the DA and see what is going on here. Let's see the number.